This video is about self-compassion and how we can use the skills from self-compassion to support our mental health. So a lot like the short mindfulness practice, the stop practice we covered, we can use self-compassion to support us when we're struggling with difficult mind states, depression, anxiety, panic, trauma, OCD, all these kind of mental difficulties. And self-compassion is so useful because a lot of these mental health challenges are characterized by self-critical thinking, inner critic, a voice inside our mind that is judging and commentating, and some of this is to in a way try and support us. So humans evolved in groups, living in groups. It was important that we were contributing to the group, that we were measuring up well and not going to be thrown out of this group. So we had this part of our brain that was constantly checking how we were doing, judging, thinking about our status, all this kind of thing. Some of that inner critic is natural and part of our brain, and actually probably has served us well at times. But in mental health disorders, it can get turned up really, really loud and become this dominant voice that is trying to get us to withdraw, to get away from danger and go back to the cave and wait it out. What we can do is strengthen and develop a compassionate, supportive voice, our compassionate self. And we can do this very simply with a two-stage process. There's different ways of doing this, and we'll look at some of those, but the very simplest is using step one, mindfulness, to unhook from the difficult thoughts and feelings, and then step two, bringing in self-compassion, either in compassionate self-talk or compassionate behavior, doing something that is supportive to us and putting our attention onto that thing. There are other ways of doing this. So we see in Mindful Self-Compassion in Kristin Neff's method, you have another stage, a middle stage, where you reflect on common humanity and how self-compassion connects us. With Paul Gilbert's work in compassion-focused therapy and compassionate mind training, we have the option of bringing in compassionate imagery and connecting with either a compassionate other or safe place imagery, different flows of compassion coming in, compassion going out, and other tools as well. So we can add in all of that and build upon this. But if we want to do the simplest version, we need mindful awareness to know what's going on, to know that we're being self-critical, and then we need to bring in self-compassion and train this. And that final step, we'll explore this more in some videos to follow, but that final step, the compassionate voice is in parallel to the critic. So we're not trying to debate it like traditional CBT, where we might try and do cognitive reappraisal or trying to balance those thoughts so much. Instead of that, we're unhooking from the difficult thoughts using mindfulness, acceptance and diffusion skills, and then we're bringing in an attention and focus on this compassionate inner voice. And so the critic could still be there. It can sit on our shoulder, and then in our mind we're using supportive, kind self-talk to help motivate us, help instruct us, help validate and accept what we're going through, but to keep us going. So much like an athlete, where you are completing a marathon or struggling with some sort of endurance or athletic pursuit, we can use self-talk to motivate and keep us going through that pain. It doesn't get rid of the pain, but it supports the athlete through the pain, helps them keep focused. It's the same here. So we're using this self-talk to support us, not to get rid of the difficult thoughts and feelings, but to support us in the behavior that we want to do. And over time, actually, this gets stronger, so that our default state of mind is often supportive and kind in these situations. Or if the critic is there, we're very quick to move back onto this supportive, kind self-talk and kind behavior and treating ourselves well. So that's the first part, this very simple method of mindfulness and then supportive self-talk and behavior. And we're going to explore other aspects of self-compassion in future videos and how we would use it with specific challenges again. It's a skill, it's something we can develop, it's something we can build. It's difficult at first, there's often a lot of resistance. Our brain doesn't always want to be kind and supportive to begin with, so it's a training, it's a practice, it's a set of tools and skills we can nurture and develop.